Welcome to the Emor edition of the short Vort. In this week's parsha, it says Sheshes Yamim Te'aseh Melacha Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbos Shabboson. 6 days work shall be done, and on the seventh day will be a Shabbos of Shabbos, etc. And then it says Shabbos Hi Lashem Echol Moshe Sechem. So Rashi, the famous commentator, says, what is the connection between Shabbos and Yom Tov, the Moadim? So he answers his own questions, and he says that if someone keeps the Moadim, then it's as if he kept all the Shabbosos. But if someone violates the Moadim, then it's like he was mechalal all the Shabbosos. So the Ksav Sofer asks the question and gives an answer, is what does it mean by not keeping Yom Tov, then you are mechalal all the Shabbosos? So he explains that what is Shabbos? Shabbos is a day of rest. Now it's a day that could be a day of physical rest. If you work 7 days a week, you're not going to be productive. So therefore someone might say, I'm going to keep a Shabbos, not because of a religious basis, but because of the productive value of taking a break. In fact, Moshe Rabbeinu had told Paro in Egypt that you should let the Jews take 1 day off because it's not practical to grind them so that they can't produce anymore. It'll be much more productive by having a physical day of rest. But of course the real reason he did it, and the reason he chose the seventh day of Shabbos, is as a os, as a sign that Hashem worked for 6 days and he rested on the seventh day. Now, how do we know the motivation of the person that he was really keeping Shabbos for the right reason, or just because he wanted not to work, not to go to do the intense labor? The answer is, through the Yom Tov we can conclude what his motivation is. Because when a Yom Tov comes, it's the same thing, that you get a day off, you can recover. But if your motivation is only you're taking 1 day a week off because you want the physical break to recharge yourself, then when it comes to having a midweek day or two because of Yom Tov, you're not going to want to lose productivity. You're not going to want to lose the opportunity to earn your money. And by seeing that someone will skip the Yom Tovim, that shows that the real reason he keeps Shabbos is only because he wants a day off to refresh himself and to recharge, not because he's keeping the Yom Tov and the Shabbos. And therefore, it's if you're mechalal the Moadim, then you are like you're mechalal all the Shabbos. The Ksav Sofer gives another explanation into how not keeping the Moados is mechalal the Shabbosos. Because Yom Tov is also called Shabbos, but in regards to Shabbos itself, compared to Yom Tov, it's called the Shabbos Shabboson. And that's because on Yom Tov, you are permitted to do what on Shabbos would be a malacha in regards to something for ochel nefesh. In order to eat food, you can prepare food on Yom Tov, which you can't do on Shabbos. And that distinction allows the regular Shabbos to be called Shabbos Shabbaton compared to Yom Tov. And therefore, if someone were not to keep the Yom Tovim, then you would not have Yom Tov called a Shabbos. And if you have no Yom Tov to compare to a Shabbos, then you would have only one Shabbos instead of Shabboson, and therefore, by not keeping the Yom Tov, you are not keeping the Shabbos. It would only be Shabbos and not Shabboson. Have a wonderful Shabbos.